Welcome everybody, Jai Baba. This is we're building the anniversary of the new life. It's tomorrow, October 16th, and I've been kind of steeped in it now. And the stories just get more and more interesting. This is let's see. What we're going to see first is Meherwan recounting how it affected his family. I mean, I had never thought about that. You know, all of these families left behind had to deal with this uncertain situation. So, so we'll have about an hour of a video of Meherwan, and then we will. Let me hear. Let's see. Sorry. Then we'll. And then it happened. This last week with Pratap, Ahir, he comes every Friday and tells stories, and he reminisced about his experience. He was 14 when he met Baba. When Baba stepped out of the new life for 4 hours on the anniversary, October 16th, 1950. Actually, and that. Pratap's birthday is October 16th, so that was especially, and he was like,
Betty.
Yeah.
Betty, I want to say just one thing that I heard Mara say. She said her favorite time with Baba was the new life because he was a constant companion. So I just, as a model for us, she who loves him as he should be loved, making him our constant companion. That's the new life. Yeah.
Right. There are so many aspects to look at to as I read about it. They're just, everybody has a story to their own story of that time. So, okay. Oh, let me say, beloved Baba, thank you for this time. Be with us, please, and help us to love you more and more, and still yet more. Beloved Baba, thank you. Amen. I will. Okay, so now we will see Meherwan's.
Late 1948, Meherazad was officially opened. A housewarming of Meherazad took place. Baba first came and settled here. There weren't all these buildings. There was no hall. There were no such buildings. There was just one room there, which Pendu occupied, and now I am staying in. One room at the other end, where it was Alaba's room later on. And then that middle cottage that you see here inside, and a few godowns at the back. That was all in a dilapidated condition. And Baba used to come from Meherabad with the women and stay here sometime in 1944 or something, yes. I remember Baba had called us once from Pune, and we had come, and Baba received us in that room which Aloba was there. That was his visitor's room. He had a mattress on the floor, and he would meet people there. And then Baba later on wanted it to be expanded so that the women could stay more comfortably. And so the backside house was constructed. It was there, it was all demolished, and the whole new structure came up. And lot many changes of design and all that took place. It was a long drawn out affair. And Baba with the women vacated Meherazad and went to stay in Gavir's dad's house, Rusi Pop as we used to call him. Very nice person. So he had a house very near the trust offices. In those times, there was no development in Ahmednagar. So Rusi Pop had hired a big bungalow there with a nice compound. And he was living all by himself there. Gavir was with Baba. So Baba asked Rusi Pop to vacate the place, I think, and Baba and the women stayed there for quite a few months. Yeah. While this thing was being constructed. And as soon as everything was over and finally Mera approved the whole thing and it was built, then sometime of 1948, Baba did the housewarming of the main house. So a few people were invited from Pune, Ahmednagar, Bombay, and local Ahmednagar, and little celebration Baba wanted. We all assembled, and in this side of the wall, there's a big wall running across. So the women's side was there, this was the men's side. And Baba asked us to have snacks were prepared. And Baba gave prasad to us all. And then Baba took us inside there. And there was a ribbon across, he cut the ribbon, he entered. And there's that divan there in the main hall. So Baba sat there and we were all asked to come, the men Mandali, and all the men guests. And then Baba said, now you all sing my arti, while he sat on the divan. Now most of us had totally forgotten all about arti. No one ever sang Baba's Bujave Nar arti. So everybody had forgotten the lines, and somehow we started to sing, and we mixed up the lines, and Baba was signing, oh, sing this first. And then towards the end, the last lines, then Baba said this, and it was the boat, and he is the captain of our ship. So Baba was gesturing, and it was quite sort of funny little prayer, that arti that we performed in Baba's presence. After that, there was a little function, and then we were all sent home. And Baba now tells the women that finally we have all settled down. Now there will be no more wanderings. So you all now make this your home and be comfortable. And just then Elizabeth sent 2 big limousines, like what the president uses. Those big 9-seater ones, long ones. So they prepared this place to house those cars. It was just a shed. So these cars were brought. Now where to house them? 2 big DeSoto cars, a special green color, the only ones in the whole country at the time. So Baba tells Airaj, let's go for a long ride to break in one of the cars. And why 2 cars? Because Elizabeth thought that Baba is all the while traveling all over India in the worst of situations, and in traveling in crowded trains and getting jostled here and there, no room to get in. So Baba could travel in comfort, and the big cars with carriers, so that Baba could have all the luggage, the mound of luggage that you would ask the Mandali to carry, and they could all be nicely accommodated. And another car in case the first car broke down. So a backup. And then a big, huge refrigerator was shipped by her. There was no electricity here. This came much later. So she sent one which worked on kerosene. So you had to light a small kerosene lamp at the bottom, and that heated some gas inside, and the whole machine would work silently, no noise. It was some Electrolux company, which they were doing right till quite recently. Yeah. So that was sent, and Raja was extremely happy because to store things here there was nothing, so this gave a very good cooling and ice formation and everything. So they thought now they would be really comfortable and live in style and be well provided. The cars were there to fetch anything. And so everything was nice. And Baba says, let's go for a long ride. This is now 1949. Before that, first Baba said, I have to I have to do some important work, and I want to enter into deep seclusion. So Baba entered that bus. He got this bus there installed, and the bus was cordoned off, and Baba sat in seclusion there for 40 days. In the middle of the seclusion, he wanted a change of scene, and he sent Airach over to Pune, and Airach and I tried to find a good bungalow for him for some days stay, and he wanted to continue seclusion there. So with great difficulty, Airach found one nice bungalow up on a hill known as Thube's bungalow. It's on the road to Satara, I think, in Pune. So quite far off from the city at that time, isolated. So Baba did that very strict seclusion, and then after he came out of the seclusion, he gave out to a few close ones that he intended to embark upon a new type of life. But it was kept well under wraps. And in the meantime, these cars arrived. So Baba says, now let's go for a long trip. And Baba and the women with Airach driving, they came to Pune and then proceeded on to Belgaum, which was quite a few hundred miles down south. And in a couple of days, they returned. In Pune, Baba tells the women, now you do all your shopping, and we will get Meherazad going. So the women didn't even know what to shop. So Baba says, buy something. He was encouraging them to buy. And Manu was accompanying the women also. Then Baba says, now let's return. And somehow they stacked quite a few things in there. The car was all nicely loaded. And then Baba said, let's go back, and tells my sister Manu, you accompany us today. And Baba had in the meantime announced that on his return he was going to hold a very important meeting. And very few selected people were invited. And in that, my dad's name was there and Manu's name was there. So they both were to go the next day. So Baba says, I will take Manu along with me now. So Papa says, but Baba, my dad, Papa used to call him. So Papa said, Baba, but Manu and I are coming tomorrow. Why crowd this car? No, she must come with me. So Baba insisted to take her along and kept her at Meherazad for the night. And the next day Baba went to Meherabad, and there he announced for the first time to the people who had assembled there his plans for entering the new life. It was an absolute surprise to the Baba world. No one had the slightest inkling of what Baba was doing. And then Baba held a long meeting, and many things were discussed there, and it was all given out that this is what Baba planned to do. And then a circular was given out to the people assembled there, and in the circular Baba gave out all the specifics of the new life, the conditions in which people would be able to accompany him, whoever decided to join Baba. So Baba selected the names of who could come, and they were given this circular with all those conditions of the new life. And at the end there was just 2 lines, yes or no. And they had to just sign there, not to put any other mark on the paper, like a ballot paper, you know. So if they said yes, they sign on the yes. If they said no, they sign on the no. And no other remark, whether they accept to the conditions to accompany Baba or not. So that's how it was. It was a very serious affair. My dad was there, and Ahir was very, very happy that Baba had invited Dad, because he was the one who really got a very deep shock about it all. But since it was Baba's thing directly coming from him, he was quiet. And Ahir didn't have to break this news to him, like he had to do once before in Nagpur, you know, from where our new life began. That was the brief history of how it all started. Baba gave the date as 16th of October, which is today. And Baba said, on 16th of October, we all leave for the new life. And those who will be with me will have to leave behind everything connected with the old life, and no connection with the old life Baba people. And the old life people would have no outer connection with Baba and with the companions that Baba would be going along with. When this meeting was over, then Baba went over on the hill and took a meeting with the women, and there for the first time he announced all these plans to the women. And the women were told that this is how it is, and that for the women Baba said, I will not leave the decision to you all, I am going to decide for you. So I'll decide who will accompany me, and all the rest of you who are in the ashram have to go back into the world and fend for themselves. People who had not stepped out of the ashram for years and had no connection with the world, outside world, just following Baba wherever he went, they would go with him. Or when he told them to stay at Meherabad, they would be at Meherabad. So for them, it was an absolute shock. Yeah. So Baba says, now I have decided to take these people along with me. And that was the 4 women, that was Mera, Mani, Meru and Ghavir, the 4 women who accompanied Baba. And from the men only who all had signed yes, there were about 16 of them. So they were the only ones that would accompany Baba. After all that was done, the meetings were over. Baba then came to Pune, and he met his family at Baba house, and then he came to Bindra house, and there Baba met us all at Bindra house. Now at Bindra house there was all confusion and nobody knew what we were going to do. Without Baba there was no life for us. Baba had asked us to stay in Pune, and he had said that we were to stay there for a few days, and that when he gave the call, we were to leave everything and come back and join the ashram. So we were expecting his call, but eventually we had settled down there and just waiting for his call, and here Baba himself is slipping away. So that's how it was. I was still going to college. I was in college, and I think it was towards the end of my college days that Baba decided to go in the new life. Anyway, so Baba came there, and then he said, now this is the last time I'm coming to Bindra house. Hereafter, you all will not see me physically. This is it. And of course, we said nothing. He was very serious. He says, now all of you embrace me, one after the other. And we all embraced him. Baba then tells Manu, now take me round to the whole house. And he wanted to see who slept where. And Manu told Baba all how we were there. Then he said, take me to where you store your grains. So Baba asked her to get into the godown and made her open each box where we stored wheat and sugar and all this. And he asked, and dal, the basic things. And he sort of passed his hand through all these boxes and tells Manu, now look, in future, don't empty out the box completely. Leave a little and fill up more in this. So never let it get empty. And my nazar will be there. And then Baba comes back. He tells Papa that you now are going to look after them. Erich will be with me. Meherwan is there when he finishes his studies. He can help you. And my sister Manu and my sister-in-law, that's Erich's wife, Khorshid, she was staying with us at the time. So he tells them, you take up some jobs, earn money. Tells Mama, you do some cooking and earn money in cooking food. You could help with Papa in maintaining the house. Yeah. So that's how it was. Manu and Khorshid never did any such thing, so they said, yes, Baba, we'll try our best. And then Baba said, Now keep happy. I don't want any glum faces, no crying when I go, and you all have to be very cheerful looking when I leave. I don't want any sorrowful parting, because my connection internally with you will be now even much more stronger. Only thing, there will be no physical contact. And it will, he gave us an order that if any of you happen to see me on the roads or anywhere where you are, turn your faces away and never try to contact me. And that is a very specific order that I'm giving you all. And then, so saying, he left. While he was leaving, he tells, he was in the car, he calls me and says, Meherwan, look, I'm taking Erich along with me. He will be helping me in the new life, and he'll be my personal sort of attendant. And for you should look after the family, so that Erich's undivided attention will be on me, so that he doesn't feel worried about the family. And as you see how practical the Lord was to make all these arrangements. And of course he left some arrangement walas, as they were called. So all the things had to be disposed of before Baba went into the new life. And when all these cars and everything was sold off, the refrigerator and other belongings and clothes and Baba's articles, everything was sent to Bombay, Pune and all. And there would be this sale going on, and Baba lovers would go and pick up articles, and the price tags were there, which Baba had mentioned, and they would give the money. And all the money that was collected, Baba gave to the arrangement walas to provide for those families who were totally dependent on Baba. So, but a pittance, yeah, a sort of prasad from Baba, which would last the families for a year or two, I think, yeah, so that they wouldn't be right on the streets begging for food or something. Yeah. So he made all those arrangements, and that's how Baba embarked on the new life. And we accepted that. We felt that we'll never see Baba again. So there was a lot of heart-rending, heart-wrenching inside, but Baba wanted us not to make the least show of it. And the situation had become so tense one day that I remember my dad would be very glum, and he wasn't at all in a good mood, and the whole family was feeling quite depressed. One day it was lunchtime, and lunch was served, and we were having lunch, and Manu somehow started to eat with her, she was slurping her curry, you know. I'm just telling you the seriousness. And my dad just suddenly flares up and says, "Stop that slurring, I don't like it. It's not good manners." And Manu, I don't know what prompted her, she made even, even a louder slurp. And my dad suddenly lost his temper and gave her a tight slap. He'd never done that in his life before. Although he was extremely strict and a strict disciplinarian, he never lifted his hands on his children. So he slapped Manu so hard that we were all stunned to see what's wrong with Dad. So that was the seriousness of the whole situation. And then he suddenly realized, and he came to, what have I done? So he gets up in a huff, goes there near the toilet outside, sits down on the floor and starts to weep and sob. Now you can imagine what sort of a condition that was. So there was crying and sobbing all over, because to see Dad cry like that, we had never seen him like that. Yeah. So it was a bigger shock to us than what he did. To see this man who was practicality down to the last letter and showing all this emotion which he never ever did. So that's how much he felt about the new life. And we all shared in that, you know. So this was the seriousness of the whole thing. So it was a positive acceptance in totality of what Baba said. Yeah. There was no doubt in our minds that we will just not see him again, and determined not to see him, because that was the order Baba gave us. So now, a little later, now Baba goes on into the new life, and after that we lost all contact with him. We didn't know where he was, what happened. No news came through. For a few months, I think, absolutely nothing what was happening, where they were. They passed through Pune, we had no inkling when they did that and what happened. So now Baba has gone on the new life. We don't know where he is. And every day I used to go to the market to do marketing for the family. And as you know, we were now on a very shoestring budget. So in the market stalls, it would be a little expensive. Now I don't know if you have seen the Pune market, the market in the camp area. So at that time, Pune was not crowded like you see now. There were open spaces. So this market was near Baba Jan's shrine, you know. And all around it were roads and a Tonga stand there, and there was a lane on the side from the market, and there was a backside lane. In the backside lane would be the hawkers selling vegetables and fruits outside. So it would be much cheaper than the stalls in the market. So I went to the backside of the market, and which led to those roads out there, and the hawkers were there. And I just looked up, and there was a road leading into the camp area from the side of the market. And a little way down the road, I suddenly see Baba and some of his companions. And Baba was walking fast towards a woman who was lying on the roadside with a huge dump of rags and all sorts of filth gathered around. She was a Mastani. And Baba, it seems, had come to contact her. I don't know who it was and what. But the moment I saw Baba, I panicked that, my God, how could I even have glanced at Baba? So I just turned round, fled from there back into the market. They were going away, and I saw just their backs, and I could see Baba all wrapped up. It was early morning, all quiet. So that's how I made out it was Baba. And I just didn't want to see it. I was unhappy that it happened. So that was the feeling. It had penetrated into our system, as it were. So he gave us the strength to go through it. Yeah. One day, I was going to college, and uh, you know, Pune Club. Just opposite that was a small theater called the Empire Theater, and I was passing along. It was a quiet road, and I was cycling in a hurry to reach college, and I see a rickshaw coming from the opposite direction. So I just happened to look, and I see Erich in that, and Erich sees me. But that's the only time I saw Erich. I immediately turned my head off, just as if I didn't want to see him. Yeah. And he also looked, and then he looked away. Yeah, it was just a momentary flash. So that was it. No further contact after that, until much later. Yeah. Then the circulars began to come, and then the New Life song and all that was sent. All those circulars began to come, the New Life circulars. In the beginning, in the New Life circulars, Baba didn't want any news of the New Life to be given out. So what could there be in a circular? So I think Dr. Neelu was given the job. So what could he write? So he just describes the weather. It's very raining, and it's very cold, and it's very damp, and here, and not to reveal the location, not to reveal anything. But even getting that was something great. Yeah, some connection, Then later on, more and more things started to happen, and then Baba, it seems, had gone to Mahabaleshwar and was in the Aga Khan's palace in Mahabaleshwar. And there it was that Baba announced that for a short duration in the new life, he wanted to step back into the old life. So it was in 1950, same day, October 16th, Baba said, on the first anniversary of the new life, on that day, I will step back into the old life for a few hours. And on that day, I want to meet some close ones of my old life. So invitations were sent out, and a few selected people were allowed to attend that meeting in Mahabaleshwar. But unfortunately, Baba had put a clause there that if you can do it in a practical way, if anything important has to be attended, then they should not attend the meeting. With looking to all the responsibilities and duties, only if they can, then they should come and attend. And unfortunately, on that very day, I had my finals for my junior graduation or something. Yeah. I had failed in the annual, and I was to appear on that day again, to be allowed to appear again, and it was 16th of October. So I couldn't go, but Dad was invited. I was invited, so I couldn't go. But Papa went, and he witnessed everything that went on there. And that was quite a memorable meeting. Baba's sermon on the mount, as it were. Baba's sermon. It's a beautiful message he gave there. Even that meeting, Baba used the occasion to bring home several things in that meeting. It was a very powerful meeting. Baba said he had certain obligations of the old life which he was not able to finish in time, and that is why he was doing this. He gave some reasons of his own. And so all those who had to come had to strictly follow all the conditions that Baba had laid. no bowing down to him, not even folding hands, just meeting him, not showing any such thing as if he was God or something. Yeah, to keep all that in your heart. Yeah, very strict conditions were there for those who attended. And this meeting was held in a stable. So there was square structure, with stables all around from all sides. And there was a front gate of metal which barricaded the whole middle compound. And it was quite a big stable, yeah. So then Baba held the meeting in that stable. Yeah, it seems the avatars have an affinity for a stable or something. So Jesus was born in a stable. This was a stable, yeah. So he seems to have an affinity for it. Anyway, that as you know, in the commencement of the meeting, all were asked to assemble at 8 o'clock sharp in the morning or something. They had all assembled, and Baba came there. He sat on the chair, and then he said, "Have all assembled?" And everybody just said yes. And Baba then asked Vishnu, one of the New Life companions, to shut the gates. And so Vishnu went to shut the gate, and he sees Gustaji running to enter. Gustaji was getting on in his years, and he always had this problem of restraining his fiddle. So whenever he would get the urge, he had to evacuate. And it happened very close to the time that Baba had given. So he hurriedly went out, fiddled, and was rushing back. And here Vishnu was asked to close the gate. So he saw Gustaji very close by running. So he kept the gate open, and before Gustaji could enter, two people slipped in through the gate. And they were outsiders, which had not been invited. They slipped in. Yeah, they were just outside as he was shutting the gate. It seems they just slipped in. And then Gustaji entered. So Vishnu closed the gate. These two fellows, now instead of sitting quietly, they go to Baba, and they go and bow down to him. Now that was catastrophic. Baba's main order was not to touch his feet, and these fellows went and bowed down to him. So Baba was extremely upset. He got up immediately and he fell at their feet. Now they were so shocked to see that happen that they again fell at his feet, and Baba again bowing down to them, and until they were restrained. Said, "What are you doing, you people? Who are you?" And Baba was extremely upset. He says, "I want to cancel the meeting." And he was extremely annoyed, and he tells Vishnu, "How did these two people slip in?" So Vishnu tells Baba, "Baba, as I was shutting the gate, I saw Gustaji approach, and I was allowing him to get in, and in the meantime these two slipped in." So he says, "But didn't I tell you to shut the gate, and why did you wait?" So he says, "Baba, Gustaji was just entering." So he says, "So what if Gustaji was entering? He could have been left out. Even if you had seen God approaching, you shouldn't have delayed. What was my order? Shut the gate. You had to immediately shut the gate. Is this how you obey my order?" So Baba was very upset with him. So he calls him and says, "Now give me a slap for getting angry." Baba was extremely upset. So now he says, now this has caused me to violate one of the conditions of the new life, not to lose my temper. Now you've made me violate my own oath, so I need to be punished. So slap me. So Vishnu gave a light slap, and Baba says, is this the way to slap? So he calls somebody else, and another one comes and just does this to Baba, and Baba says, I said to slap me, not to caress me. Then he looks around and he sees Minu Kharas, so he calls him. This man was Baba's very old-time disciple. He was to join the new, and I think he was allowed to join the new life, but in a special way. So he was in the police force, and a very strict fellow. You know how the police people are. So he calls Minu, he says, Minu, you come here. Now give me a slap. So he comes forward, and with a full swing of his arm, he gives a tight rap to Baba, and they could see marks of his slap on his cheeks, you know. And Baba's face almost turned like that. And everybody was dumbstruck with all this thing going on there. So then he says, you see how you have to obey me? This is called obedience. Then Baba says, now I've forgiven you all. He tells those two people to go now. You have seen me, you had my darshan, now go back. So they were escorted out. And then before everybody could settle down, one huge man suddenly appeared before Baba and began to remove his clothes. And that was Pukar. He became so emotional, he just suddenly appeared before Baba and began to remove his clothes. So Baba asked others to restrain him, and he was almost nude. And Baba says, what is this, who are you? Then he had come from Hamirpur district. For the first time he was seeing Baba. And he was one of those who was very much opposed to Baba. He wanted to expose Baba as a fraud. And he was, at one time later, he had even acknowledged that he was carrying a gun, that if he knew who Baba was, he could just shoot him, because he was proclaiming himself as the avatar of the age, the same one who is Ram and Krishna, and this was sacrilegious to him. And he was like that. He was from the underground freedom movement, and a very tough guy, huge fellow, giant of a man. And when he saw all this that Baba was doing, and suddenly he had a change of heart, and he recognized Baba as the same one that he claimed to be. And so he got so emotional that he started to come and undress himself and fling himself at his feet in repentance of what he had done so far. So Baba asked him to cool down, then told him, first thing, put on your clothes again. So he was made to dress himself again. Then he asked him to go and sit in his place and not to make a show of all this, to contain himself, to restrain himself, and so on. So that was part of the meeting that happened. And then Baba gave that big sermon that we all have, Meher Baba's sermon. Why he called this meeting, yeah. And then other arrangements that had to be finalized, Baba did all that. Pukar became such an ardent lover of Baba. He had more physical contact with Baba than Nigam afterwards. Baba kept him as one of the mandali for several months together at a time. Yeah. His name was Parmeshwari Dayal Nigam, and there was a magazine which he called Pukar, which he was publishing clandestinely first because it was an underground thing, and then it became Baba's magazine. So it was Baba's Pukar, and it's still going, I think. Meher Pukar. Then it became Meher Pukar. He was like Hanuman, strong, big, and quite dark, So Baba would say he's my Hanuman. And Hanuman was Ram's very close follower and a great warrior of that time. I was a monkey, yeah. And Pukar looked like a big gorilla, Yeah, he was like that. Pukar had mellowed down quite a bit, staying with Baba. We see in the film Baba walking in Guru Prasad on the driveway. Baba couldn't walk without much pain in his hip, so he would want to rest, and he would ask Pukar to bend down and sit on his back. So he's my Hanuman. And Hanuman used to carry Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders and fly about. He had those powers, As I described earlier, I missed the chance of seeing Baba for the first time in the new life on 16th October 1950, the first anniversary, because of my exams. So I was at Bindra House on that day, very sad about it all, that I couldn't attend the meeting. And Pune happens to be a place where, which you have to pass by to go to Mahabaleshwar. So Pune was quite central, and many from Ahmednagar, Pune, Bombay had been called by Baba for the meeting. And so they would be all coming to Bindra House, many of them, on their way. So Sarosh, Merji, Nariman, all these people, they were arrangement walas. So people were coming one after the other in our house, and while they returned also, they were all passing by. And it was the day of my exam. So I appeared for my exam, but I was so ill prepared for the whole thing that I failed again. I might not as well have appeared. So now that was the occasion that passed away, and then Baba said to the people who had attended that now it will be a very serious phase of the new life. So far it was not so very strict, but Baba was going to be doing much more intense work in new life after the meeting, and that very soon he would be entering into a very deep seclusion in that time. So Baba was continuing with his new life in 1950, and he was still there in Mahabaleshwar. It was early 1951 that Baba declared that now he was going to enter into a 100-day seclusion, which would be extremely intense, and Baba wanted absolute isolation, no disturbance, and it would be one of my very critical periods of seclusion. There were certain ones that were very critical. One was in, I think, 1948 or something, when Baba went to Angad Rishi, there that time also Baba wanted a very isolated place. So then up on Seclusion Hill, before the new life, Baba had been in seclusion. So some of these seclusions were very intense and very concentrated work. So now Baba said this 100-day seclusion will be very intense and it will have great repercussions in the world later. And Baba made all the preparations. A straw hut was asked to be made in a room. Inside the house, inside a room, a straw hut within that, so that Baba remained absolutely insulated from the outside. And such was the strictness of the seclusion. And Baba was doing this, and Baba said the first few days will be very strong, and then I might need a change of scene or something. He didn't say that first, but he said it would be very, very, very concentrated work. And while he was in seclusion, one day I think Adi was there. Adi had been sent back, in the meantime. He had left Baba with Gani. Both he and Gani had separated from Baba. But then he was, I think, called back for some work or something, and he was there while Baba was in seclusion. So he describes it that one day it seems that Baba suddenly burst out from the enclosure and he came out from there, and it seems that Baba was panting, and his whole demeanor was all very drained, there was no color on his cheeks. He had become very, very pale, and there was a big pallor on his face. And Baba was extremely agitated, and the Mandli were quite shocked to see Baba like that. And Baba said that today I really worked myself into utter desperation, as it were. And I felt that I would want to jump out of all this, jump out of seclusion and end the whole thing. It was so intense that I had to get out of that enclosure, and otherwise it could have been a very serious thing. I might have dropped the body or something. It was as severe as that. And then, of course, he calmed down, and then he re-entered. But then Baba let it be known the severity of the seclusion was less, and Baba in the meantime developed severe physical reactions on his body. In these deep seclusions, invariably Baba's body did show signs of a lot of illnesses, So the major thing that came up now was very severe piles for Baba. And he was in great pain night and day. When piles swell up, the pain can be extremely excruciating and incessant. It leaves you totally and completely out of sync of everything. So Baba was having that as one of the reactions. And Baba says, I want a change of scene and I would like to go to Pune. So inform Adi and Meherwan to search a suitable house for me in Pune so that I could be there secluded. I would be continuing my seclusion, but I want a change of scene. And I want to do some special work in Pune or in around the city. So Baba then sent that telegram, and it arrived. And it was sometime in the month of April or something, 1951, just when my final exams again were due. Then the Baba's telegram arrived that he wants a bungalow to be located. So we were all desperate. Adi came over from Nagar, and we both went on cycles, searching one lane after the other in Pune and surrounding places, and couldn't locate anything. And I happened to pass by Bun Garden Road and saw a huge palatial building, which is Guru Prasad. So I thought, oh, this is a good mansion. How about going and inquiring? We drafted a telegram to Maharani of Baroda. It belonged to the Maharani of Baroda. On the day Baba was to arrive, early morning, Gadekar comes to Bindra house and tells me, he shouts my name, and I rush outside on the street, and he says, Meherwan, here's a telegram. And it was a reply from the Rani of Baroda saying permission granted. And they started to stay in Guru Prasad. So now Baba comes and settles there. And then one day, word came that I was to come and see Baba at Guru Prasad. So that was the first time I was there. And all those who had helped, so Adi, Gadekar, myself, and Sardar Raste, and a few others who are the Baba lovers who were all trying to come and help, they were asked to come. And Baba saw us in that guest house at Guru Prasad. And when we saw Baba, it was a ghastly sight. I had never seen Baba in that sort of physical condition ever before. Baba was pale. He had to be supported for walking. He could barely walk. And he had become so enfeebled, and there was such constant pain because of the piles that he couldn't even sit. So all the while that we were there, Baba stood in the doorway like that of that room where we were and supported himself with his hands because he couldn't sit down. And we didn't know exactly what was wrong, but later on we came to hear about this. And to be in his presence was to feel very uncomfortable, I tell you. That we were causing great distress to him by just being there in his presence. And he was trying to sort of show his appreciation. He was telling us how pleased he is with this effort of ours, and how much it has touched his heart, and how much it will help him in this work. He was in deep seclusion and all that. But our moods were not so good, and he sensed that. And he says, why you people are like this? So Gadekar and all, he was very emotional. He says, Baba, seeing you in this condition, we feel very sad. He says, it's don't worry, it's something got to do with my work. It's a reaction of the body. It will soon pass. Don't pay any attention. But how could you not? So that was how it was. And instead of feeling happy to see him after all that separation and all that strictness, we were confronted with this sight. And just to cheer our moods, Baba asked Neelu to recite a very funny story, which is quite long.
Neelu, tell a funny story.
A very funny story, which was quite long, and we were waiting to, could hardly laugh, but it was a very funny story, I tell you. And then part of it we knew also. Then Baba says, "You have heard of this?" We said, "Yes, Baba, something we heard of this kind of story." Baba says, "All right, now you all can go." And then we heaved a sigh of relief that Baba was entertaining us despite his discomfiture. And while going, Baba asked me, "How is your studies?" So I said, "It's my final exam." Baba said, "Have you studied?" I said, "No, Baba, I didn't get much time to study." "Then will you pass?" And I said, "Yes, Baba." I said, How? Now do one thing. When you go back, now put all your mind in your studies and try to get through. So I said, "Yes, Baba." And then I returned, and there was a lot of things that happened. It was my final for my graduation in science, in chemistry and physics. And in chemistry, you had 92 elements which you are supposed to know absolutely by heart. And I hadn't even looked at the books for a long time. So I said, I opened the book and the chapter on uranium came. And I said, "Let me study this." And I studied that in great detail. And that was the thing that was asked in the papers. And somehow I scraped through and passed. So that was the story.
So let's see here. Yeah. There we have it. I don't know if anybody has comments. I thought if anybody does have something to say or share, New Life related, this would be a time. This will be a break. I'm gonna now play 20 minutes of Pratap Ahir, who met Baba for the first time at that time when Baba was taking the 4 hours break at Mahabaleshwar out of the New Life. He talks a little bit about that. So yeah, I didn't see this as much of a discussion time, but anybody's welcome to contribute anything.
I have one observation. It's very interesting. There's only one man tuned in to hear about this New Life. Does anyone else find that interesting?
Sort of.
I mean, really? I mean, yeah. But I mean, and, hearing of that thing of Papa Jessawalla whomping, I guess, Manu, and how bad he went because he lost control and weeping. They found him weeping. But it's the same with the mystical language. Very few men. That's all I'm saying. I find it more than interesting. Yeah.
Hooray for Mayor Kiran.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Betty,
Maybe he would have a statement about it.
Betty, I have one comment. You mentioned something about 4 hours that Baba stepped out of the New Life.
Yeah.
It was a full day on October 16th, 1950. So it was an entire day, not 4 hours.
Okay, I got that from somewhere. Maybe, yeah. Okay, thank you. I totally. You're the great researcher. Good, thank you, Judy.
Betty, hi, it's Joy. I have a fondness for learning about the new life. People find that a little bit strange in my group where I came from, but I don't. It's like there's this intellectual wanting to know intellectually because I can't know otherwise, probably, or I haven't been able to. I haven't had any what do you call it? Any enlightenment on the new life much, but it's on my mind a lot. I'm reading Tales from the New Life by Erich. You probably have too, because you said you've been steeped in the new life. So I've been trying to this week and things are getting in the way, but this is a really fun thing to read. Don Stevens interviewed Mani and Erich, and it's their story. It's very easy reading, enjoyable. I feel like I'm there kind of. What I learned was that I didn't know that Erich was always walking next to Baba and then the women and then the rest of the men. That was something I learned from here. And also that Baba told Erich not to sing. He had a good singing voice. And Baba said, don't sing never sing again. Except yeah, that's what I read. You're done with singing. I don't know what he did with Artie when they did it that day, but he did. It says in the book, and this is from memories. This is a 1976 book, so this is from their memories. So might not be totally accurate, but except for singing happy birthday to people. That's where I'm at in the book. And the stories about begging and stuff were fascinating to me. How Baba kept walking and Erich had to figure out where he was next and run across the field with food for breakfast. And it sounded like, I don't know, I'm just enjoying it a lot. And I did read Bao's huge book on the new life, but it was over a year ago. And I forgot about it this week, and I think I might go and get it out again. In fact, I read it twice, but I can't tell you. I can't say what popped up in that I wanted to share. But it's just hearing Meherwan had some kind of internal effect on me, and I just am very fascinated by the new life because I think that's what we're coming to somehow, somehow.
I guess, yeah.
And the other thing I didn't know was that those marble statues of all the religions, that was at the end of the seclusion, entering into the Manonash period. And Erich said, I never knew what he did with those. And the other thing that was going to spoil the new life was right at the end, and Erich was sitting outside Baba's room, and Baba called him in and said, what's all that noise? Do you remember this story? This is my last thing, and then I'll go away.
Feel free. That's fine. Whatever.
That he heard, so Erich went and told the men to move over because they were snoring too loud. And then Baba said, no, there's a noise in here. And it was a mother bird nesting toward the end of the new life. Do you remember that?
Yes. What is it in Mampur? The temple mosque, right? They were sleeping in a mosque.
Yeah. Yes, you're right. And Baba said, take that bird and throw him out. And I'm going to cry for some reason. But anyway, Erich went to take the bird. Baba said, stop. The whole new life will be ruined if you just or something to that effect. I'm not quoting exactly, but that I can't harm someone in the new life, So Erich put the bird back, and I don't know, I didn't hear any more about the bird except that it was Baba caught himself at the last minute.
Baba had him hit him with a slipper, I think it was. He'd had Erich.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Yep.
Right.
And that's all I wanted to share. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for sharing. I found this movie on Tony, the Mayor Baba Travels site. And there's another, looks to be wonderful movie of Meru talking about her experiences. Trouble is, though,
Yeah.
that it was, she was talking at some kind of a meeting, a Western Baba meeting, and there must have been an airport nearby, because the audio, you'd get interrupted all the time with the planes. I would have played it, but I, this is young Meru, and she was just laughing. She was so jolly, and so well worth. So I had no idea that I would find this resource.
Yeah. There was a movie last night shown at the meeting place, Rano, talking about the new life, but it's past my bedtime to go, so I wish they would do it earlier or have two different meetings or something.
That movie must be available. Probably if you search Rano, you'd find it.
And also maybe if I go to the bookstore.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. I'll write that down. Thank you.
Okay. Well, are you up for more? It's a long Pratap. I just can't. He is I can't speak highly enough. He's still with us, and he has such a rich store of memories about life back then. And he, like I said, he was 14. It was his birthday. October 16th is his birthday, 1936. And that was his first time to meet Baba, was at that time where Baba stepped out of the new life into his old life. So he is once again the avatar and not just the elder brother.
Are you talking about Pukar?
No, Pratap Ahir. He was
Pratap. On Fridays. Yeah, I haven't been.
On Friday, and right after morning arti.
Yeah, thank you.
And he just kind of, I grabbed this 20 minutes that you will see where he's talking about new life, but he kind of goes from subject to subject, or he'll answer questions or whatever. So what a
Betty?
Yes.
Marta. Betty, can I ask Meher Karan a question? Meher, hi.
Hi, Meher. Jai Meher Baba.
Hi,
Meher,
Jay.
Jay
Yeah.
Baba, where are you? And did you meet Baba? And who's that darling child with you?
So we are in Indiana, Fort Wayne, the city. Okay. And we are originally from Hyderabad. My father did not meet Baba, but he came from the village Baba toured in 51. Okay. He was born 1 year after, within that, or he was like, Baba visited the village 2 to 3 times, and at one time he was at least 1 year. But what my father said is, in his village, every home has a Baba picture in their prayer room. And they're like, and his sister, who is elder to him, they all went to Baba. Like when Baba came near the village, in the mob, all of their family was there, like whoever is elder. So that's our background, though. But we might have met Baba, but like not in this life, like I remember.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you. And what's your son's name?
Abhiram.
Abhidam, hi.
Hi, Ahir.
Jai Baba.
So I wrote one small poem one month ago or so. It was just coming. It's not new life, but it's like very short.
Say it now. Yes, we want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Baba, all the while I thought this is my life, my body. These lines on my palms, this long journey, that spark as a kid, that cheerfulness, the optimism as I grew up, that someday I will overcome all my problems. Is it me or is it you? And is it my dad or is it you?
Oh, beautiful. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Thank you, Meher.
So since you brought my dad, as I grew up, I saw so many shades of my dad. And sometimes I get caught. Is Baba, I'm looking, I don't know why that happens. Like that expression sometimes is fiery, is silent. It's like, oh Baba, oh Baba. Now at that time I didn't know anything. Now if I recollect some memories, oh, it's like Baba at that time.
You show up at many meetings, Meher Kiran. It's really you're
So
enthusiastic.
yeah, oh, it's just like natural. You know, I have like well, what do I say? It's good to have these meetings, and I have a sense of belonging, which I
Yeah.
don't get there.
Yes, you're part of our Baba family for sure, of course.
So that's
Thank
the yeah. Thanks. I think thanks for this time. Looking forward to Pratap's videos.
We all feel that way. It's wonderful to share. Wonderful to share and feel part of our Baba. Yeah, you said it well. Okay, so
will follow immediately after the session, that is on Monday, is the 16th October, when 1949 Baba started his new life phase, a very important phase in Baba's Avtaric mission. The repercussions or the inner meaning that is come to surface. But then every one of us who are connected with Mere Baba, they have their own thinking, their own ideas about this 16th October. Anyway, this 16th October is very important day for our Pune center, because on this day, most of Baba people, including myself, we have met Baba for the first time. Baba was in new life. He started his new life on 16th of October 1949. And during that time, we were busy. We were also, we have heard about Mir Baba. We were attending all the programs, Baba programs at different places. And as we know that I was in Pune, I was studying, I was living in a hostel, government hostel. And the one Mr. Thade, who was the secretary of that hostel, he had come in Baba's contact, and the process of spreading Baba's name in Pune, that was going on in full swing. And I was also drawn in that group. That is in the year 1948, middle of 48 or so. And then I started attending all the Baba programs. Early time, programs were held at different places, in different houses or different shops or houses. There were shop owners, especially the owners of footwear shop, shoes. And they had come in Baba's contact. Especially, I would like to mention a couple of names. One is of Bapu Sahib Shinde, who had very good business, very flourishing business in the footwear. He had a couple of shops, and Baba had visited his shop, one of his shops. We used to have program at his shop on every Thursday in the late evening. And Bapu Sahib, we used to call him Bapu Sahib Shinde. He was so very have very good social contacts, very good social contacts, and he was very helpful. Now, during that time, because of his flourishing business, the other shopkeepers in the same business, footwear business, they thought that this is because of Meher Baba, that this man is getting so much money out of this business. So many of them started following Meher Baba. and quite a good number of people from that shopkeepers, they became active members in the activities of Pune lovers. And as we know that during that time, Dr. Ghani had come in the group and he used to talk about Meher Baba. Earlier talks were confined to Dr. Ghani's early contact as a school boy, running after the kites, then playing different Indian games, playing cricket, playing hockey, and entering into gang wars and all that. So this was the childhood they had passed together, and thereafter the Manzile meme phase. So early times, Dr. Ghani used to tell about these two phases of Meher Baba's life. One is childhood, Ghani's contact during his childhood, and thereafter Manzili meme phase. At both the places, Dr. Ghani was with Baba. So when Baba started his new life, Dr. Ghani went with Baba in the new life, and then we continue to keep up those activities of of singing bhajans and then studying Baba books and arranging for certain lectures. Ramchandra Gadikar was with us and he used to give talks. One Mr. Sule also there who used to give us talks, and everything was going all right in spite of that fact that Dr. Ghani was absent from our group. And then exactly after 1 year, that was on the 16th of October 1950, Baba had allowed his old life devotees to meet him at Mahabeshwar. There was a Aga Khan bungalow, a very spacious bungalow and very big area where there were many outhouses, very large area. So there Baba had held that meeting of 16th of 1950, and it is then that I, along with many others, saw Baba for the first time. In fact, earlier also, as soon as I heard about Baba's name, there was no, what should I say, a, a, a opposite thought. I had never had that thought. Baba says he's the avatar, yes, he's the avatar. Without knowing what is the function of that avatar, Baba says he's the avatar, that means avatar. And Dr. Ghani used to, of course, we were very young then. I was about 14 years of age. And whenever Dr. Ghani used to give talks, we used to sit in the first row. And I used to very keenly listen to his talks. His way was very enjoying, very entertaining. It was not a lecture actually. It was simply a heart-to-heart talk. But then he has brought out many things about Meher Baba's life and Meher Baba's activities, and all that was going around Meher Baba among the Baba Mandali. Dr. Ghani used to call it as a andar ki boxing. Boxing means fighting. Inside boxing. Boxing behind the curtain. That means very secrets of Baba's life, of those people around Baba. He used to tell so many things. And then he also, of course, used to say that this is the costliest diamond I have been in your hands. Don't lose it even at the cost of your life. That was the advice he had given to us. Dr. Gani's relation with Baba, we are not, it is their own, own problem. Both were, had a mischievous attitude. They will never be quiet. They will tease. Sometimes Baba will tease Dr. Gani. Sometimes Dr. Gani will tease Meher Baba. And both were enjoying. That friendship is a really a very lovable aspect of Meher Baba and Dr. Gani's togetherness. The 16th October is coming. Day after tomorrow, we have many what I meant to say that many of the people from Pune Center, they had met Baba on 16th October. So right from the beginning, we are observing this day, New Life Day, 16th October, in a special program. This time also we have a special program on 16th of October. Apart from that, there are other programs also. Now tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will be going to Mumbai for a program. I have very friendly connections, friendly relations with Bombay people because I have spent my service time about 20 years, more than 20 years at Mumbai, 23 years in Mumbai. So that was a long period I had been in Mumbai. All the people from Mumbai, they are very dear to me, very dear to me. They are very dear to me. And so I'll be going on Sunday. And thereafter, there is a big program at Amravati. Amravati is a place, Baba has visited Amravati. Very early time. Amravati has a good center, their own center, a building constructed for center, and quite good many people. They are very active people. All the ladies and gents, both are very active. They are completing 25 years of their center. Establishment of the center, they're 25 years. And they are celebrating that silver jubilee on 28th and 29th. So that particular week, 28, 20, perhaps 27 must be the date on Friday. So I may not be able to take this session on 27th Friday. Of course, I will give you a message afterwards, but then casually I just tell it right now because I'll be going to Amravati along with my family members. A very good, big function they have arranged, and so many people, even some of the trustees, like Sridhar Kelkar, then Prasad Rao, then Ramesh Jangle, Mirnath Kalchuri, they will be attending this function. So there is a big event that is going to take place, and we will be going there. So all these, what I mean to say that all these particular is 4 months, they have been full of programs and full of dates also. It is, as I said that earlier, we were in Baba's contact during during it, there was talk going on about Mir Baba's new life. The senior people used to talk much about it, and we as young boys, we didn't know, or we didn't have that seriousness of the conditions of our new life. We were just listening to whatever is happening without appreciating the seriousness that Baba had attached to this new life condition. That condition that once Baba goes on new life, is he has broken all the relations with the past life, all the relations, or his own relations, own property, own house, mother, father, brother, sisters, everything. They have to left back and just go along with their Baba on new life. That is the new life, and this aspect of new life only we knew, but then we never thought about the seriousness of it. He used to watch all these things. And that is why when on the first time when we saw Baba on 16th of October 1950, that was even that time, the whole we were serious about, no doubt about it. We used to follow the serial people. We used to try to understand what the people say about this new life. Gadikar and all the other earlier, before going on new life, Dr. Gani also used to say about new life. So we will listen to all these things without quite appreciating the way Meher Baba is going to live that new life. But then I remember that the conditions when we went to Mahabeshwari, we were strictly told that we are not to bow down to Meher Baba, not even fold hands. And believe me that we were waiting. There was a railing. Yeah, there was a row house, and then there was a railing, and in front of the railing, we were waiting for Baba to come. And like a flash, Baba appeared there. And I just raised my hand to fold hands. But then I remember that's not to be done like that. So I just put down my hands. And Baba met everyone. Baba touched everyone. Everyone passed through from in front of Baba. But then there was no personal introduction during that time. That personal introduction took place after 2 months, in the month of December, when the Pune Bhajan Mandali was invited to perform before Meher Baba. Why I repeat this story? I must have told it earlier. I do not know whether I have told it in details here. But then these phases of Baba's life, even after so many years, we do not exactly understand why Baba has taken this phase and what will be the outcome of it. What will be the repercussions of it on the worldly situation now?
I've stopped the sharing there because then he proceeds to talk about he talks about silence, and he has many things to say, but that's it for the new life part of his talk this time. So, he's such a sweet man. It's just, it's a wonderful, it's wonderful to be with him. And he likes people to ask him questions for sure. So does anybody have anything to share or questions? Let's see. I'm not sure I'm getting, I don't know why I'm not getting chat. If you have something, oh, here we go. Oh, all right. These videos, the video of Meherwan, Marta asked the question, where do I get these videos? The video of Meherwan talking and a wonderful video of Meru, who was on the New Life talking. But again, there's noise in the background. Those videos are on the Meher Baba Travels. To find them, the easy way to find them is to type in 1949 New Life. I type it right into Google, but that'll bring that section right. I have a hard time navigating that Meher Baba Travels site, and I find it works best I type stuff into Google, and then and it's one of the options that comes up. So 1949 New Life should, if you type it in the browser, it should give you the video of Meru, the video of Meherwan, and then the videos of Pratap are there on the if you type Pratap Ahir, you should be able to get them from Google, or you go into Baba Zoom gallery and all of Pratap's videos are there. So Meher, Meher.
Yeah.
Meher, I would love to hear that poem again. Would you say that again?
I will say that. But Abhi, you were asking me a question. You ask Betty, she will tell you. What is your question? The old life.
What is the old life?
Oh, that's when Baba was, he said he was the avatar. Oh my gosh, he did so many things in the old life, but his new life was that he just said, now I'm just a regular person. I'm not the avatar. I'm just your brother. And so don't treat me special, because that's the difference between the old and the new life. In the old life, he said he was the avatar and we knew it. But we had to treat, and oh my goodness, we did treat him specially when he was in the old life. But in the new life, he was just a friend, just like any other person. Good question.
The old Baba was like avatar, and he did so many things. And he said, okay, from October 16th, 1940, 49.
49. Yeah.
In 1949, Baba became a friend, and he wanted everybody to treat him in his new life like a fellow person. That's the difference. Okay, go.
Your name again? Tell us your son's name again.
Abhiram.
Abhiram. Oh, thank you for coming, Abhiram. Thank you for watching. Oh, now your dad's going to say the poem. Yay.
Yeah, the poem. Okay, let me look at it while I read. Okay. Baba, all the while I thought this is my life, my body. These lines I see on my palm, the long, tiring journey, that spark I remember as a kid, that cheerfulness, the optimism as I grew up, that someday I will overcome all my problems. Is this me or is this you? And Baba, is it my dad or is it you? So you know why I wrote that poem is every time I am writing, it's so much of my mishappenings, my problems. I thought why I should vex Baba. Let me see the good things, huh? Let me see the good things. And when I see the good things, I'm doubtful. Is it really me? Why? Because it's so, the planning is I really don't know what is to be mine now and what is to be his.
I think that sounds good. Sounds like you're you're progressing to
Yeah.
yeah, to where you forget about you. I think I know how you feel. Yeah, it's saying yes to the good feelings that are Baba. Yeah, beautiful. That was a great way to end our meeting. Thank you, Meher. You have to say your poem when you go to meetings now. When you go to the readings, if I'm with you at a reading, I'm going to ask you to say it, like when we read the life circulars or all the other ones.
Yeah. I cherish these poems, I wrote only two so far. This is the second one.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but they come at their own mood. One inspiration is we come to Zoom, these life circulars. I pick
Yeah.
up something, sit in my brain. Oh, why? And then it comes. I will write on this then.
Okay, we're gonna ask you for poems when we see you. Well, then I guess we're ready to say Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Unless anybody has any more questions. I'm not seeing any. Okay, thank you. Remember, tomorrow's the day. Think about new life. I know I'm reading in Lord Meher. It's interesting. It's so interesting, that whole, as you know, Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that one important thing. Baba says, when I entered the new life, I gave up everything. I lost everything. Thank God I didn't lose my sense of humor. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's so daunting, though. Imagine, I guess you have to get to where you do that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's big.
Sense of humor, though. Thank goodness. Thank God. All right. So we say together, Avatar Meher Baba. Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba.
Ki Jai. Avatar
Meher Baba.
Ki Jai. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Nice to see you.
Baba.